So the word's out that Trump and Putin are going to meet and talk about the end of this Russo-Ukrainian war that's been going on for, what, 4 years now? I know 3 years. I think it was 2022 is when this started. So it's been going on for more than 3 years because it started in February. So we're about 3.5 years into this war, and it has absolutely devastated Ukraine. A lot of the people have left Ukraine and are probably not going to return back. Ukraine used to be a beautiful country. It used to be those beautiful Orthodox Christian churches with the domes. It used to be, you had the beautiful countryside and the farms and the people. As I've met people from Ukraine, and they're cold on the surface, but they're actually very, very nice people once you get to know them. They're very stubborn people, but they're very nice people once you get to know them. And the same thing goes for Russians as well. Most of the Russian people I've met were really great people. So people have been saying, anybody who has said that this war is a good thing has bought into propaganda or is pushing propaganda. Okay, this war is not good for anybody. It's not good for the West, and it's not good for Russia either. Russia has lost a lot of men in this war, not to mention resources that have been poured into fighting this conflict instead of being reinvested in their infrastructure and making people's lives better. Instead, it's being sucked out of the economy and it's been pushed into defending the Russian geopolitical interests. This war is really a load of nonsense, and I've been outspoken about this from the very beginning. This started because there was a geopolitical contest between the West using NATO, thought of by the RAND Corporation. They were talking about how they were going to split Russia and break Russia up by sucking Russia into a conflict in Ukraine. And Russia, that wants to remake Eastern Europe, they want to make these, like Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, they want to make these into buffer states so that they don't feel so insecure because they have a dwindling population, and their concern is that they're not going to be able to combat either a military or cultural influence that would be heading eastward from Western Europe. I'm not going to say that either side are run by a bunch of angels. Obviously, we got people who are hyper-competitive and corrupt individuals on both sides. And I'm not going to say that, one side is better than the other, because honestly, they're both bad. It's just that they're opposed to the other's worldview, their geopolitical designs. They both have their version of a new world order. The West obviously wants a nihilistic form of a new world order where you dissolve really everything except for their globalist institutions. That includes individual freedom. And the Russian system doesn't care about individual freedom. They want the continuation of their corrupt oligarchy, and they want to expand out their influence to include Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and they want a weakening of the West, including a weakening of the United States as well. Now, I'm not for either design. I'm for free trade and free and open discussions and individual freedom everywhere. So, but with all that said, this war has made everything worse, okay? And like I said, it's made it worse on both sides. It was the West that was pouring weapons in Ukraine, that was doing the NATOization of Ukraine, that incited Russia to invade Ukraine as per the RAND Corporation that designed that plan. And, from a belligerent standpoint, who's more guilty than the other one? I give Russia a slight moral high ground in this, but ever so slight. This happened because the institutions in the West, the globalists, wanted it to happen. They wanted to break Russia up to exploit it and to eliminate basically a competitor to their system. So, again, I'm not a fan of any of these, but if we're going to have individual freedom, we need to turn our attention to the sources of the problem, the sources that are on the individual, the black pill ideology, this idea that things are determined outside of your control, and the people that are pushing this, that are putting poison in our medical procedures, that are poisoning our food and our water, that are arresting people for free speech, that are managing an economic collapse and are bringing in people who are not Western into the West. Really, that's the enemy. Okay, there's a bigger threat to freedom. It's not really from Moscow so much. It's from places like London, Brussels. It's in Washington, D.C.